Breakaway to those watching on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, welcome along. Sepp Kuss with the win on stage 15 and his teammate Primoz Roglic staying in the race lead and topping off a perfect day in the mountains for the team from the lowlands, Jumbo-Visma. So Roglic keeping the red jersey for a fifth day and doing what a race leader needs to do, defending that lead to the end. Alejandro Valverde stuck with his wheel to the end and stays 2 minutes and 25 seconds back. Tadej Pogacar and Miguel Angel Lopez both dropped 41 seconds and stay in the same positions. Not a great day for Nairo Quintana, who lost 1 minute and 36 on the day and now sits over 5 minutes outside the race lead. Well, Adam and Brian are alongside me, and we've got to start with a spectacular win for the 24-year-old American. Brian, he was high-fiving on his way up that climb. He loved it, and we don't always get to see riders enjoying their moment, but he was making the most of that, wasn't he?
That's the American way, isn't it? Coming up high-fiving, but no, he put in a tremendous performance, and I think first and foremost at the start of the day, Sepp Kuss or one other rider was to get himself in that breakaway, to give maybe a rider in front to drop back and help Roglic. When it formed, there's 17 riders in that break. Astana never put a rider in there, but Movistar and Jumbo-Visma put a rider there. The rider was Sepp Kuss. I'd have liked to have known when he was given the go-ahead, because Jumbo-Visma lost a little bit of control early on. They only had 2 riders after the first climb with Roglic, the leader, but they got together in the valley and rode pretty much all day. The shout then went up from the red jersey group, go for the stage, when he'd been sat on that group pretty much the whole day, and he took it with both hands and he deserved it. I remember last year killing everybody in the Tour of Utah. He came to the Vuelta last year, found it tough. He's back, he's put in a tremendous amount of work for his leader Roglic, and that was a deserved victory. And we were saying just a few moments ago that it was a day of dreams really for Jumbo-Visma, but you reckon they were a fine margin away from it being a bit of a disaster, really?
Yeah, I think it's just, in that scenario, if something went wrong behind and they needed him, what would they have done? Would they have called him back? And if he was in that winning move, imagine how heartbreaking that is for a 24-year-old.
I guess he would have had to, though, wouldn't he?
He would have had to, yeah, and I think it is bike racing. It yeah, it happened to Soler, yeah, but this kid's a young kid, he's been working so hard. It doesn't really change anything for young or old, but at the same time, it's almost, don't let that happen in a way. We never see the likes of Ineos saying, right guys, you go up the road and try and win the stage, and we'll just try and do the GC battle behind. It's what are you here for, the GC? Concentrate on that. Don't worry about the stages. It's an added bonus what they got today, but you imagine if it went wrong. They could have lost the Vuelta today if it all went wrong because they put a guy in the wrong move, you know. It could go down to that, and I think it's just minimising risk in a Grand Tour for that GC lead, and they've just done one little thing that could have blown it to pieces if something went really wrong. So.
But isn't it great to see a GC leader's jersey being defended like that? I mean, it's wonderful to watch from home. But what was going on then within that team today, other than thoughts of victory aplenty? Here's Nelson Paulus chatting to Matt Stevens after the stage.
Nelson, what an amazing season Jumbo-Visma are having, an amazing Vuelta, Roglic in the lead, and now Sepp Kuss, your teammate, winning the stage. How does that feel?
Feels incredible. Yeah, coming into this race, we couldn't have expected a better scenario, and yeah, Sepp's buddy of mine and teammate, and like we knew he was climbing well, and I'm so stoked that he was able to get an opportunity today because he really deserves it. And yeah, I think we are all committed to doing everything we can that is going to help Primoz win this race. But yeah, at the same time, like the team gave him the freedom, and he took advantage of it, capitalized on it, and ran away with it. So that was really amazing.
Was the plan for us to get one of you in the break and kind of drop back for Primoz later, or was it about trying to win the race, trying to win the stage?
Yeah, in the beginning it was definitely more with an eye towards helping Primoz later in the day. Just in case the race was getting too hard for us in the back, and Astana or Movistar we thought that maybe they could try something really crazy with 1 or 2 climbs to go, and they definitely made it hard on the very first climb, which was earlier than we expected, but I think all the guys are riding really incredibly strong, like Tony and Leonard, to be able to come back so fast after the pace that Movistar had set on that first climb was really impressive. And then they just controlled the rest of the day and let the rest of us save our energy for the next really challenging days.
Go and enjoy some champagne.
Oh yeah, man, thanks.
No worries.
Thanks.
Only St. Paulus confirming there that it was the plan to get a rider in the break who would then be helping Primoz Roglic. Then they just decided to go for it. It is nonetheless a brave move, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of teams do it. I think one team that Adam mentioned don't do it as Ineos. They keep everybody back, but
no one ever does it with the jersey. That's the point I'm making. No one will
Yeah.
ever do that in the break. So it is a ballsy move to make. No, you never see a leader's team say, right, you go up the road. It's always a team like Movistar. So I think that's the point I was trying to get across. Sorry.
Okay, but a lot of teams do it. A lot of teams, even if they've got the leader's jersey, always put a rider in a breakaway, because in this type of stage, especially when you hit that climb, it's important to have a rider there. Okay, it's not always to go for the stage win. I don't think it's ever with the stage win intent. So, but they'll always put a rider in the breakaway to play that card later on in the stage if they have to drop that rider back.
Adam, in that final climb, as we were watching it huddled around our little screen, you thought for a second that Primoz Roglic was cracking. Didn't turn out to be the case. He's not looking like cracking yet, is he?
No, there was just one point where you see his body language shift a little bit on the bike, and I just thought for a moment that Alejandro might have had him on the ropes a little bit, but he's not falling yet. You can't see a crack in his armour, and he looks strong as ever. So he's like Brian's been saying, he is the man to beat, and he seems to be riding away with this Vuelta, but hopefully he's not going to. Something's going to happen.
The thing is, he didn't have to ride with Valverde when he attacked. He didn't have to ride. He did help him, and that's why there was a handshake with Valverde and Roglic straight after the line. They combined together to put distance into the other GC rivals.
And it worked. And Primoz Roglic, the biggest winner on the day when it comes to GC, at least. And here he is, after taking that red jersey for a 5th day.
Primoz, it seems that everyone around you, people from your country, your teammates, everyone is winning now and enjoying this Vuelta.
I think it's really nice to see it. It's really good that we all enjoy Vuelta.
Obviously, it's a different feeling having a teammate winning and still having a biggest gap in the GC.
It was a really nice day for us at the end. So I think we can be again happy, but still some really hard days to come. So we need to still to be focused.
Did someone ask you if you wanted him to wait for you in the last climb? Was it your initiative to tell, I'm okay with Valverde, you can let Sepp in the front?
It was just, I think, the fact how the race went. They just, if he had opportunity, was, I think, good that he take it.
We have to think about the Giro, seeing how everything is going well for you here, and it wasn't the case there. Did you learn something from them?
Of course you learn from every race you do, every Grand Tour you do, we changed some things, and so far is going well.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm delighted to say we are joined right now by the stage winner, Sepp Kuss, still high on life, I am sure. That was one of the most pleasurable stage wins to watch. The high fives all the way up. How did that feel?
Pretty crazy. Just incredible atmosphere all the way on the climb. Bit of a goat track there in the beginning, unbelievable feeling.
What a crowd. What a stage in which to win your first win at a Grand Tour. Sunk in?
It really hasn't sunk in. I'm kind of at a loss for words, but like I said, the fans and everything, that's what makes bike racing so special, is that interaction, and it just allows you to push that much harder, and it's pretty cool.
So we're intrigued, Sepp. At what stage were you given the instruction? Were you given the all clear to go for the stage win today?
When the time gap went out to about 5 minutes, then we were already racing on the last climb, and in the beginning just following, and then it was enough time to go for it. So
no fear that Primoz will be isolated behind then?
I think going in, our strategy was just to get him to the bottom of the climb anyways, and we know how strong he is. yeah, on some of these climbs when it's so steep and so selective, it's you know, less of a team requirement. But yeah, with that said, tomorrow it's definitely back to work. So yeah, can't relax or anything.
It's a good day to take a day off work, though, isn't it?
Seb, in the morning's meeting before the stage, did you put your hand up to go on the breakaway, or were you told to go on today's breakaway?
Well, we knew Astana and Movistar would probably yeah, go on the break and maybe try to put some guys across to the move or something. So we wanted at least one of our climbers in the break with that. So initially it was just marking that and being there for...
So you were there first, and you being there first led you to the stage win?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's how the luck rolls, eh? Seb, thank you very much indeed. Best of luck with the rest, but congratulations on your wonderful win.
Thank you very much.
We'll let him go off and have a few glasses of bubbles. I'm quite sure they'll allow him one or two of those anyway over their evening meal before they head back into the mountains. There is no such thing as easing into a Grand Tour rest day, and this is no exception. We have our second huge Asturias mountain stage tomorrow, this time 144 kilometres from Pravia to Alto de la Cubilla. There are 3 climbs, all in quick succession and all a brutal test for whoever wants to challenge for that red jersey into the final week, because Roglic isn't going to let go of it easily. But before that, we have highlights of today's stage at 8 p.m. British summertime tonight on Eurosport 1. We will be back at midday tomorrow live with Stage 16 again. That is on Eurosport 1, and stay tuned if you missed the Tour of Britain earlier on the Eurosport player, because we have Stage 2 coming up for you next on Eurosport 1. Now, from the Shrine of Our Lady in Acebo, the heavens have smiled on Sepp Kuss. His prayers answered with a win on Stage 15. His teammate Primoz Roglic takes the red jersey one day closer to the final rest day and the final week. Last day before that tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Coverage of La Vuelta on Eurosport is sponsored by Zwift, where fun is fast.